All right, joining us now from New York is Adrian Calamel, fellow at Arabian Peninsula Institute, terrorism and Middle East, a scholar, author of forthcoming book about Hezbollah. Adrian, welcome back to WION, and great to see you this morning. Well, Hamas is not at this negotiating table. What are the implications of this absence by this militant group?
It's great to be back and great to see you again, Susan. The implications are, yeah, I think we need to take a step back and look at see who's rejected every single peace deal, ceasefire deal, any type of initiative that's been put forward, and it's been Hamas. Um, I think what they've been doing, I think what many of us have seen it's to amp up the pressure on the Israeli government, the internal pressure from its own internal population, saying that you must secure some type of hostage deal, which is tied to a ceasefire. The problem here is Hamas will not give up the hostages. They see them as leverage. And another added problem here is that with what we saw earlier with the hostage releases, when the hostages were released, and then there's been two individuals over the last couple of days that were released from Israeli prisons that were carrying out terror attacks after the release, and they were taken out just over the last 48 hours. So the recidivism rate is not good on these. Now with Qatar.
And Adrian, how?
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, with Hamas not being there, they're expecting Doha, Qatar to do their bidding for them. And really, who's doing the negotiating there? Is it Hamas? Is it Qatar, Doha, or is it the Islamic Republic? Are they the ones really kind of pulling the strings about any type of negotiations?
Yeah, that's so true. And how credible are threats coming from Iran? On the one hand, many believe that Iran is not going to retaliate on a large scale, not those spoiler attacks that it's used to doing. But on the other hand, it seems preparations are being made for a wide-scale assault by Iran or its proxies, Hezbollah maybe.
That's a great question. And it's what is exactly what is the Islamic Republic thinking now? Playing to their strengths, are in terrorism, asymmetric warfare. It's not conventional warfare. If you look at their last response, large scale response, it was largely a failure where a lot of the rockets, I think like 50% or more, didn't even make it to their intended targets to Israel. Most of them were taken down by the Iron Dome. It was proven largely ineffective. Now, you can say they were probing effects by the Islamic Republic to check the Iron Dome, see how it operates. But they can't run the risk of sending another volley of missiles that everybody's worried about, and worried about Hezbollah's precision-guided missiles. But we start to call into question, how good are these missiles? Are they as effective as they say they are? And does Tehran have a concern and say, you know what, we're going to move and shift and look at embassies? They targeted the embassy in New Delhi before, target Argentina before. So, we need to be looking at that as well.
Yeah, and finally, I guess something shifted after Benjamin Netanyahu was here in the United States meeting with President Biden and Vice President Harris. It seems that the bombing campaign against Gaza intensified. What are your thoughts about what policy Israel has decided to pursue? And just another question, what's the alternative to this so-called ceasefire that everyone's hoping for?
Well, great questions again, Susan. I really think that if you look at the situation, the way Israel is looking at it, it's been 10 months of warfare here. They've been very methodical about the way they've gone about it, try to minimize casualties, moving populations to safe humanitarian corridors, which obviously it's horrible for the Palestinian people being moved from one place to another, but it's been to mitigate deaths. The goal for and why you've seen this increase in tempo by Israel, I think it's largely in response to you see an increase in tempo from Hezbollah and the urgent, a need to finish the military objectives inside Gaza. And they are close to finishing them, where you see they maybe got one or two battalions left, only Sinwar's left, and their top leadership and command is really kind of on the run. The alternative to a ceasefire, and I really think this is the only solution, is that Hamas is never able to reconstitute a foothold in Gaza. It's like removing the ISIS caliphate, removing from Mosul and Raqqa. Yes, ISIS still presents a problem, but they don't have a safe sanctuary where they can receive funds, receive weaponry, don't hide among civilian populations, and carry out repeated attacks, which Hamas is stated they want to do over and over and over. And Israel just cannot let this happen.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.